All right, let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
And I found my pen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's good.
Pens migrate around here, so. Cool. And it's a twist off. I didn't even need the damn pen. Here we go. All right, Shiner Oktoberfest today, and we are here with Blake, and did I pronounce it right, Cryer?
Yes, sir.
Blake Cryer of Axeaholics Hatchet House.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not the coolest title and everything, I don't know what is.
That's pretty awesome.
And Clif, as everybody knows. And Clif's doing a Guinness Stout, and you're going to try. Which one were you trying?
Cherry limeade Shiner.
I've had that. The cool thing about the Shiner stuff is are you done with it? Or
Yeah.
The cool thing about these, the prickly pear, somebody had the other day, and I love the. It's kind of a citrus shandy thing. None of it's too sweet.
Yeah, that's my thing too.
Yeah, because I can't deal with that. Like even IPAs, they get too like sticky.
I love fruity beers, but they can't be too sweet. It'll make my stomach hurt.
Yeah. After a while, man, just sugar's enough. Enough is enough. So on the topic of that, I've never met. That's pretty good. Is it good?
Yeah.
I haven't met Blake. We've had some conversations, and seems like a really pleasant, nice guy, which is why I kind of feel guilty about what I'm about to do to you. We were running over how we do things just before we started rolling, and made comfortable and welcoming him. He says, "Yeah, I watched the episode about the alcohol that you guys hated, the Desert Doors."
Oh my God.
Yeah. I almost hate to, but
Shouldn't have said anything, Blake.
And I said that too before.
yeah.
Even came.
I almost hate to do this to you. Now I want to tell you guys a story. I was in Houston at Total Wine, which is a giant.
Total Wine is awesome.
Yeah, whatever you want there. If you want a $5,000 single malt blessed by the Pope, it's
they
there.
got you.
Yeah, they have everything, and they had a big display of Desert Door. Mm-hmm. Now I'm probably half in the bag when I'm there anyway, and I was getting some tests done, so I was on all the crap they gave me at MD Anderson, and we were in there buying something that Nicole wanted, and I saw that display. And there's no one in there. There's like 3 customers in this giant place, and this manager guy. And we talked to him before because my wife's really into mixology. She makes a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And so I see this cat, and I'm like, "Hey, man, does anybody buy that stuff?" And he says, "Yeah, well, we have
Once.
He says there are a number of customers that really. And I go, "No." I said, "Look, I've tried it, and I can't understand why it's still there." And I said, "And I've shared it with friends. I've shared it with friends who are people who know this stuff. Mm-hmm. And everybody says the same thing. It's the worst shit I've ever put in my mouth. Do you really sell this?" And he goes, "Well, no, when I've tried it, I detect notes of grass and all this stuff." And I'm like, dude, just it's you and me. I'm never going to share this conversation. Can't you?
Until today.
Can't you tell me? No, we never got there. We're like, can't you just say, this is horrible? and he wouldn't say it. No. So Desert Door, this is it says spirit distilled from Sotol, and I've had some Sotol, and it was decent. It was kind of like tequila, but sweetish, not Swedish, but you don't want any more than this. But now the thing is,
at this rate, that bottle's gonna last forever.
Yeah, and I almost hate to do this because that Shiner's so good, but give that a try.
Well, I'll be able to wash it down, so that's not the problem.
See, he's so cute. He's like young and naive.
Like he thinks he's gonna get.
I know, and y'all told me too.
Man, I got queasy taste in that. It's like, oh yeah,
and you were like, it sticks in your mouth for literally hours.
So what'd you get there,
man?
The first.
Oh,
see that face? Yeah.
That's terrible.
Chug a lug, Blake.
Do not feel in any.
That's like, oh no.
Yeah, that's fine, and I will not be offended in the least if that glass sits there forever.
I'll definitely do it.
All right. Well, like as we go, when you get through it, just give it a pop. Tell us what you think about it.
You know what happened is. He asked you if you'd seen the podcast, and you said, "Yeah, I saw this one, and I really liked it." See, that was your problem.
That was.
Yeah.
You should have said, I have watched every one of your podcasts and they all suck. And I can't believe I'm here.
Right.
I'm going to save you. I'm here to save your podcast because it is so horrible. And you wouldn't be drinking that right now.
That's true. That's true. But no, I will take absolutely no offense.
I told myself too. I said, don't say anything about that alcohol because he's going to try it.
I don't.
It ain't like he's going to run out.
It smells like if you just put a whole bunch of tobacco in a bowl of water.
Tobacco.
That's good.
In a bowl
Yeah, you're the
of
first one.
Loose leaf tobacco though. Not like ashes or anything, just like the raw.
We've gotten ashtray, Band-Aids, hobo sock water.
I'm going with Mexican jet fuel.
It's getting worse.
Yeah,
it's only getting worse every time I smell it.
It does. So yeah, go easy, and if you have to leave to vomit, don't worry. I was not far out of a chemo treatment when we shot that episode.
Oh, he's doing it. He did it.
He did.
Ooh.
So this could be our last podcast because of the first on-air fatality that we have.
I was going to say, I might die now.
Nothing like a huge lawsuit to put the kibosh on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely just felt like I just drank a box of cigarettes.
Yeah, see, I don't get that, and I do, and see, I get the tobacco thing now.
I
really do.
Hey, if you ever go talk to that guy down in Houston again,
I feel like it's just it's like slowly getting worse.
Yeah,
because like the first I didn't really taste it, and it wasn't that bad, and then now it's just like creeping.
Well,
back.
And I'm gonna hold this up.
Hello.
Hopefully the camera will catch it. It's oily, like a really good brandy. Oops, and that's probably. I'm sure Sotal and all that stuff. Anything carries that plant family carries kind of an oil.
So
that was so strong, it literally just changed the taste of this beer.
I hate that, man.
So Matt, when you go back down to Houston, if you run into this guy again, I want you to ask him about it again. And if he starts giving you all that BS about, when he tasted it and blah, 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 I want you to just go, I'll give you $20 to drink a shot right now in front of me. Just see what he says.
Yeah. It's like, I've killed 6 of my friends with this. I want to see you do a shot right now.
And I'm going to stand here and watch the look on your face when you drink it.
So all of us, this podcast is kind of rooted around a group of friends, and we all have the attention span of a parakeet, and we interrupt constantly. So at any point, no matter what we're into, when you burp that next flavor note, just jump in and let us know.
Just go ahead.
Yeah.
I think
we won't be offended at all.
Yeah. All right. So today, what about is I don't know what I'm going to call it, like backyard ballistics or something. But Clif, I'm into archery. Clif and I do Airguns and stuff you can do in your backyard if you enjoy shooting. So I get on Reddit and I'm thinking, what else could you do? And I get on Reddit on the local forum, and
Reddit's
they said,
just an amazing place.
Yeah, it is, brother. And I got on there and I asked in the Odessa forum subreddit, and I say, look, here's what we're doing. I'm looking for knife, axe, any kind of throwing sport. And we had Blake, Axeaholics in Odessa.
Awesome.
And so hit him up, said, come in. He said, we'll do a podcast. I promised you free beer, and I'm going to apologize in advance for the stuff.
Sorry about the Sotal.
Yeah, sorry about that. So we'll get started with archery. And in fact, I brought a bow. So brought my new bow.
Ooh.
It's huge, so
it's very nice.
Thank you. So, I shot the same bow from about 1977 until I got this one, and mine was an old Ben Pearson fiberglass, and I read an article that said you can't break them no matter what your draw length is. So I'm drawing that thing a solid foot past what it was designed for. I got it when I was a little kid. And I noticed something. One of the side effects of my chemo is I'm shaky.
He kept growing. The bow didn't.
Yeah, the bow stayed the same size. That damn thing got smaller and smaller over the years. But I was having trouble with Airguns. Airguns are lightweight, and I'm shaky, and I can't shoot like I did. And I have a long history of marksmanship through my law enforcement career, and then I competed in rifle and pistol, 3-gun and stuff. Loved it. And this is a little heart sinking when you can't, when you're not steady enough. Mm-hmm. And then I took my old bow out, and I figured out with that a little bit of muscle tension, for whatever reason, that shaky kind of went away. So I decided I'm going to learn archery. I'm going to get into it. And like we've always said here, our mantra is, if it's worth doing, it's worth going over the top. So you've got an Olympic recurve sitting here.
Well, I should probably warn Blake that Matt, most people collect things. Mm-hmm. Matt collects hobbies. Okay, yeah. so that's his hobby is collecting hobbies. So for him to come up and tell me he has another hobby, he goes, new. I'm shooting archery now. Yeah, of course you are, dude.
Now, why wouldn't you? So, well, we went to X10 Archery in Houston, Texas. Big shout out to those guys. It's an archery range, and it's centered around marksmanship type. Well, that's
they
not
do like
correct
speed targets.
Yeah, target shooting, rifle, and firearms. We call it marksmanship, but it's centered around kind of the Olympic community. And since then, I've learned how archery's broken down over the years. So you have Olympic archery, which is recurves like this with sights and stabilizers and such. There are a few rules to what they can't have. And then there's target recurve. I can't remember if it's Olympic or not, but it's its separate thing with these recurves, and they're the ones when you see the targets with the 3 small bullseyes. That's those guys, because they'll stack the same arrow on top of the other, so they shoot one shot per target. Yeah, man, they're just ripping these tiny little groups. And then there's that, and then you get into bare bow, which is in competition they look a lot like this, except they have some weights on them. And it's an Olympic type bow or similar, and they can't use sights. So for me, the whole adventure, I just set a goal. I'm going to learn instinctive shooting, and wound up with this bow. And then I learned there's different aiming techniques and gap and all this. So I've just had a blast screwing with it. But there's a cartoon. I want to put it up here. Funny story. It's 2 different archers. It's a crude drawing, and it's the Olympic virgin archer, and then the trad chad, they called it. So the Olympic guy is the geek with this high-end bow, and the trad chad is the guy that made his own 200-pound English longbow and all this. So the last time we were in Houston, my wife and I booked a session with an instructor. And we showed up, and it was us, and I swear those 2 dudes were there. Like this one guy that was probably a software engineer and with all the Olympic stuff and the giant sight that sticks out that far. And then there was the trad guy with his long ponytail, and they were talking about the last Ren Fair they went to, and he had this gorgeous bow that he had probably made it with
handcrafted.
Yeah, with a tree and a rock, that he scraped on it, and it was crazy. So yeah, and both those dudes were there. That was a fun part. But it's safe in your backyard. Around here, archery's geared around hunting, and I hunted 2 seasons.
Bow hunting is very hard. I commend those people, because it's tough to bow hunt.
Yeah,
my uncle bow hunter, just like to this day still bow hunts, and I'm like, hats off. Hats off to you, man.
That's my buddy Scott Green was just here. He stopped by, and we were talking about hunting, and he and his lovely lady friend. And I hunted one season when I was a brand new rookie at the sheriff's office. A bunch of guys were on the same lease, and I learned exactly how hard it is.
Oh yeah.
And then later on,
lots of patience.
Yeah, after my first cancer treatment, I thought, I'm going to give it a shot. And now that crossbows were put into the archery classification, now it's legal, thought, all right, well, here I am, a former SWAT sniper. There's no reason I can't hit something at 25 yards. And I bought a crossbow, and I zeroed it to where I could drill a dime at 25 yards with it, no problem. And I watched what you got there.
Okay. Perfect. When somebody's smoking barbecue?
Yeah.
And that smoke, you inhale that smoke?
Yeah.
That's what it
tastes like. It hits the back of your throat. And you sort of, all right.
Well, if it's good,
so a little bit
charcoal.
Of asphyxiation.
if it's good barbecue, it's not necessarily bad. If it's bad barbecue,
it's not really the barbecue though. It's just that's
with
all
the
I can
dose
think
of the
with
smoke.
the amount of smoke.
Yeah.
More like
campfire.
More
smoke,
like tire fire.
Tire fire. Yeah.
Tire fire. That's a new flavor note.
Spot
right.
on. Tire fire.
Yeah.
Just burnt rubber.
Yep.
In the back of my throat.
But I did the crossbow thing, and I shot at a deer, and I harvested that deer. It dropped dead in its tracks, and I noticed the bolt was absolutely nowhere near where I had aimed. And it had hit the deer in the neck, killed it instantly, a foot away from where I'd aimed.
Yeah.
So I took care of the animal. It was delicious. The place where we hunt, they taste great.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So I went back.
Tastes better when you kill it too.
Yeah, I went back that night, and next morning I got up and I double checked the zero, and the zero was fine. So I hunted again, and then the next day I shot at a turkey, and I saw everything that happened this time. Is that turkey jumped over the bolt?
What?
Yeah, so it heard the snap, and it jumped. The bolt went under the turkey, blew, $13 worth of arrow and broadhead into a pile of rocks, and I went, okay, so that's the game changers. They hear it coming, they move. And I missed another deer, and I thought, I'm going to injure an animal, so to hell with this, and waited till the rifle season. And I sit in my blind, and I'm not hunting, I'm harvesting. I'm totally aware of that.
Yeah,
if I want to hunt, I'll go after hogs. Mm-hmm. This is harvesting. It's like going to a store where I'm sitting there and I'm trying to pick the healthiest deer. I'm drinking a beer, texted my buddy over in the next blind, listen to some music. I had a little Fearless Flyers going. And I saw a deer, dropped it, and I'm done, and the deer's hanging, I'm cleaned up, I've had a meal, and I'm in my observatory before sundown. So target archery has been an absolute cool thing to do, but I would not hunt with it. I don't want to injure anything, and I don't want to work that hard, like you said, man.
Yeah.
Those guys are into it for the work.
That's what that's why I commend them, man. They're
washing your clothes in the special soap, and you can't. Yeah. And it's like our buddy Bill, man. He built this blind. We call it Fort Kickass. Yeah, it's one of these giant. I think it's a redneck brand, and it's like a Hilton, and he has everything in there. A little heater, a little. And he sits in there and reads his Kindle, burns his cigar, drinking whiskey, and he sees a deer. And honestly, when you're hunting like that, you look at your watch and you're going, it's too late. We'll let that one go. But as hobbies go, it's fairly cheap. It can be. I mean, you want to shoot in the Olympics, you're going to drop $3,000 on a bow. This one came from Lancaster Archery, and it's great for me because I get that meditative thing that I got from especially precision shooting, and I shot in high power rifle, the NRA military type stuff, and there's a zen to it where I don't give it, I don't care what your problem is, you've got to push it so far behind you and really focus in the now. And archery's done that for me, and I'm still chasing problems, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, and I still occasionally put one past the backstop and break an arrow. So
it happens.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
It does.
And, I mean, even at the Hatchet house, I mean, we'll hit the top of the crossbar.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
And everybody will look at me and get real scared, and I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It happens. That's why it's built like that.
When I was, I used to coach Olympic style fencing, and we occasionally, the place where we practiced, we got put in a room with a low ceiling, and our saber guys just carved all that shit up. Yeah.
Write their name on the ceiling.
Yeah, they would, because there's a couple of attacks where their point, they start with a point really high.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of in a jump thing, and they would just, and all that crap would fall down. I'm like, oh God, we're gonna get kicked out of here. But so that's my take on archery. And if you're into the trad stuff and you want to grow a beard and build one out of a tree and shave it with a rock, you can do that. I don't want to work that hard.
Yeah.
And the stuff's out there. Tim has a bow that I sold him. It's a single piece polycarbonate bow that's amazing. Oh, and there's a version of paintball with archery. Have you guys seen that?
No. What?
Yeah, it's called Combat Archery.
And they have is it like paint on the end?
It's on the end of the arrow. It's like a special stopper. There's no point, so it's like they look, some of them from tennis ball down to maybe like handball size, and they don't use they don't have gloves on or finger tab. on the string where you would need the tab, because there's a lot of tension, it'll irritate your skin. There are 3 big, they're like giant cylindrical beads. They're concave for your finger. Mm-hmm. So you start off, I don't know, with like 3 arrows per team, and these dudes are hauling arrows at each other. and if you get popped, you're out. And they're on paintball fields. I've seen them on actual paintball. You could tell because there's your dried paint dripping off the obstacles. And so you shoot at each other and you pick up arrows. That's kind of cool. And keep going. That sounds fun. So that's a thing. Boom. I don't have the energy for
Hobby
that.
Collected.
So
we're going to
that would be another. Yeah, if I had the lungs for it, I would go. I would go do that, but I can't do that anymore. So, but archery in a nutshell, it is legal in Midland, Texas. So are air guns to use them in your backyard as long as your projectiles stay within the confines of your property and you're not shooting living things. We're in a legal situation where you couldn't shoot anything but a mouse or a rat inside the city limits. So, but quick take on archery, and I've sucked a few friends into it. Clif's put up a force field to keep me from dragging him into anything else. So,
yeah, I've had to develop a resistance to new hobbies thanks to
too much fun things.
My hobby is a resistance to new hobbies that Matt brings me, because every other week he coughs up a different deal he's doing. You notice it totally went past you that he mentioned fencing in that. That was another hobby.
I did that for a long time.
He tried to get me into.
So we'll talk about Clif's hobby now, man. Let's do air guns.
That's my gun.
Bad dude.
That's
Clif's.
That's my 10-meter air pistol with the dot sight on it, because I'm getting old and my eyes don't work like they used to, so I like dot sights.
I lack Clif's fortitude and staying away from hobbies, so I allowed him to suck me into it. So there is my custom-built 10-meter pistol that I'm going to put right next to it. Nice. So how we do this, Clif?
You get this little tiny target that's about that big, and you stand about 33 feet away from it, and you shoot at it with one hand. And that's basically 10. Oh, I even wore my.
Get out!
I even wore my shooting hat today.
Oh,
just to geek things out a little bit.
That is Broner material. Look at that.
Yeah, with my blinder on it. So, do you guys? I used to see these things like advertised in shooting magazines or catalogs or whatever, and I always thought, man, that's why would somebody use that? Well, then I got the opportunity to take a bullseye clinic from Brian Zenz, who's probably the greatest pistol shooter to ever live. And during the clinic, they explained why you use a blinder. And so I immediately bought one as soon as the class was over.
So bullseye it's the equivalent of the rifle competition I did, but it's one hand, 3 calibers. Yeah. And it's been around a long time.
Well, in this current form of rules, I think they established in the 20s or 30s maybe.
And you did that to kind of supplement. You went to air guns to sort of.
Yeah, well, I went to the air gun to practice bullseye shooting without having to go all the way to the range. Because I can shoot that indoors. I own a shop that's 36 feet long, and I can shoot 10-meter indoors. Put my pellet trap is against one wall and stand against the next wall, the other wall. Yeah. And I can
what
shoot.
What size are
like
the pellets that you guys shoot?
Well, they're 177 caliber. They're just regular size pellets. Mm-hmm. But this my gun is a single pump air pistol, and then Matt's there's a CO2. But mine shoots 365 feet per second, pretty much every single time. I mean, it's extremely consistent.
Very consistent, yeah.
That's and crazy. Then they both have those are Walther match grade rifled barrels that are on those guns. So they're a lot of fun to shoot.
When I made the decision when I was looking toward retirement and I wanted to shoot more, and I'm going to give you my take on air guns, in that you got to understand how much shooting I was doing in my career, at the peak of my law enforcement career. thousands of rounds. I shot all the time. I can't say I got tired of it, but it became a job, and I did a lot of shooting. And sometimes you need, again, that Zen meditative thing, and you don't want to get up and pack all your crap and go to the range. And one of the reasons I didn't compete anymore is because here I was working shifts, and I would have to get up at 4 a.m. and pack all my gear and drive to wherever the competition was, and it was a mess. And so Cliff got that thing and let me shoot it a couple of times. Uh-oh. So as I saw my retirement and all that coming around, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a 10-meter pistol because I'm one of those people who whatever it is, just the way I was born and the way my brain is geared, I understand shooting, and I'm inherently good at one of the few things. Most useless thing in the world to be inherently good at, it seems, if you want to make any money. But
yeah, it doesn't pay well.
I went to buy one of these, and they don't make it anymore. They just quit.
Yeah.
And immediately whatever was out there became expensive. So I went to Crosman, and they're the only ones I could find in that price range. And what are we, around a couple $100s?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, around there. And you had to get it from the custom shop, so they put my name on it.
That's I don't have that feature.
And the walnut grips. We need a Vanna White. We get my wife in here. But it does have the Walther barrel. I haven't experienced a lot of issue with the CO2, but being independently wealthy and retired.
Right.
We'll wait for the applause to stop. Hold on.
12
gram CO2 per session. That's not a lot of money.
50 cents or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you buy the big box, and I can tell you right now. And we do 10-meter rifle, and I'll pull the rifle out here in a second. There is absolutely no difference in the focus, in the concentration, or the experience other than the recoil. Mm-hmm. And that's what I want everybody to – we're going to ramble on for an hour here today. Yeah. And I want everybody to walk away from that when it comes to air guns. And that's the only thing I'm missing.
I wish I would have brought a target now, a 10-meter target. But the 10 ring that you're actually shooting at is what, 3/8 of an inch in diameter?
Well, okay. Are the rifle and pistol targets the same?
Well, no, they're not. The rifle targets are actually smaller.
Okay.
But I can tell you the X ring inside the 10 ring is about the size of the pellet.
Oh, really?
And you're shooting at 33 feet with one hand. I mean, it takes.
Well, talk for a second, and I'll go pick one up. I've got them right here. Yeah.
So he tells me. See, when he tells me to talk for a second, brain goes completely blank. So
I've never actually seen like the air guns. I haven't really researched that much, so I'm gonna have to look into it now.
Yeah, it's
I'm interested.
Here, of course, we can shoot this in here. We can dry fire this because we don't have a pellet in it, ladies and gentlemen. But you can pull that trigger, see what you think of that.
I think your bolt's open.
No, yeah,
it is.
Yeah, need to close that.
Oh, okay. And then you
just cock it again.
That thing has an amazing trigger.
You'll notice the safety is gone because.
Who needs that, right?
Because I took it out. Yeah. No, no, seriously. A safety in a target weapon is completely ridiculous. And it's mostly ridiculous in a non-target weapon, but that's probably a subject for another day.
Yeah, the only thing is if you're in, like I said, in competition, the stuff I was in where anybody ever cared about it, not in police and 3-gun, I'm talking about target stuff. The only time anybody cared that your safety was on, your bolt has to be open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's pointless.
Yeah.
It's pointless because the gun is not even, you're not even loaded, ready to go until you're actually on the line.
Yeah.
In a safe environment. There's really no point in having a safety.
So there's a 10-meter AR-5/1. That's the rifle target. Did we lose a camera?
I don't know.
Did you lose a camera? Died. Gotta recharge it.
It is hardwired.
You broke the camera, man.
I'm sorry.
Dang it. Oh, I'm sure it's Matt's fault.
Oh.
Hang on, we're gonna fix this camera.
Well, that's a first.
We'll be right back after these messages.
It's fantastic. Let me see that target. So that's a rifle target. So
back in action.
This target doesn't even have a 9 ring. It goes from 8 to 10. And you're shooting at that at 10 meters.
I think we fixed that camera. I don't know when it went out.
I don't know.
I didn't notice. So
yeah.
Okay, camera's back on.
So the 10 ring. Okay, the difference I think between the rifle target and the pistol target. Mm-hmm. I think the scoring rings are about the same, but the black area is maybe a little bit bigger. But the scoring is actually the same. You wanna?
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah, so there you go.
So I have a 10-meter rifle. So there is, and these came from the civilian marksmanship program. Cliff and I got a couple of those.
Yeah, Matt calls me one day and says, he goes, well, I just noticed that CMP is selling refurbished match grade air rifles for $150?
That was $100 bones.
$100. And he said, I'm going to buy one. And I said, go ahead and get 2.
go ahead, give me one too.
Because I could use one of those. So they're refurbished, so the furniture's a little banged up, but the sights are new, the sights are new, the valves are new, all the everything all the.
It's
internals.
a Daisy 853, and when you buy it from CMP, and what they've done, and the thing about an air rifle, they last forever. You don't wear the barrels out. Because there's no heat. You don't have the heat. You don't have the pressure of a firearm that's eroding the throat, eroding the muzzle.
So you don't really have to clean it as much. Or
no,
really
no.
Even have to clean it.
I don't know what the protocol is on that. I run a pull cord through mine every once in a while.
Well, they make these little cotton pellets that you just stick in it and just shoot a cotton pellet down it, and it just kind of cleans it out, Yeah.
Yeah, and some of the old salts would shoot. Yeah, you can shoot paper towel and Kleenex. I've heard all that. They put new seals on them. Yeah. That's really the only thing that I've had wear out is a seal. And if you can change a battery in a remote control, you can change a seal. So if you've got an old cool granddad's air gun in the closet that you pump it and the air just runs out, get on the line, buy a seal kit. It's a one beer job.
I just replaced.
Speaking of one beer,
I've replaced all the seals in this one. I think it was $23 for a kit. So.
Yeah. I did one. It was about $20 on another one. But no, this thing, this has the finest trigger. I've paid money to have as good a trigger as that on a sniper rifle that I carried one time. It comes with this little sight. It's plastic, but it's a diopter peep sight. And you can check it out. It's got the globe sights and all that stuff on it. It's kind of a weird bird to if you're not used to those sights. It's a little unconventional, but it's strictly for target shooting. So
it's nice though. Very nice.
And
okay, boys.
I think
selection's not near as good as it was a while ago.
Oh, it's all right, man. I'll do that Sam Adams winner.
Honestly, I'm not picky, so
just no more Desert Door.
Just.
Blake, I've got to give it to you.
You know what?
I got to give it to you, my man. You were handling that way better than the rest of us did.
I plan on taking another one just so that I can be the only one who did two. I want to be a legend.
You're going to level podcast. Up. All right, man. We'll do it.
Please punch me in
now,
the face.
I'm gonna. Here's the only rule.
In the nuts.
Thank you, sir. The only rule I'm going to impose here as Grand High Emperor of the Van Cave is I'm going to make you do it right before we start your segment, so you have to speak and be articulate through the rest of this, okay?
Hey, that's
so if you nod
off
like a heroin addict, we're going to hold you to it. One thing I do want to say,
35 minutes of Blake nodding off.
Yeah.
we throw them axes sometimes.
There you go. One thing I'll say about the airgun world now is absolutely nothing like when we were kids. I think people, Gen Xers and folks older than me tend to have a kind of a bias like airguns are toys and things for kids.
Yeah. Because
all you have is the $30 Crossman at Academy or Walmart or whatever, and they're typically not as accurate. They're cheaply made, so on and so forth. And as a kid, I wore out I don't know how many air guns. Quick side story: when my wife and I were dating, I read Carlos Hathcock's book.
Yeah.
A famous Marine sniper from Vietnam, and he's an amazing guy. And he was another person that was just a natural shooter. And his story was he grew up barefoot in somewhere in Appalachia. I can't remember which state. My memory's horrible. But he and his friends pulled together their money, and they bought one rifle. So it's 3 guys. They bought one single-shot 22. And they would go squirrel hunting every day after school, and you got one shot, and you had to hand it off to your buddy.
Dang.
So he got really good at not missing because he had to wait for two more opportunities. Yeah. And Nicole said, "So what's going to be the story in your book? When you're retired?" And I had a litany of air guns because I wore them out as a kid, and we didn't know about changing seals and stuff. But I grew up in a trailer park by cotton field, and we would get ours and go out and shoot grasshoppers. Yeah. So in my office, and you know what? I'm gonna put it up a picture of it here.
Grasshoppers
for my birthday. Grasshoppers. We would go out and shoot grasshoppers. Yeah. So we'd pick off grasshoppers. She made me a mounted grasshopper.
Oh yeah.
With the commemoration on the back to.
Well, I've seen that like a million times, but I never bothered to ask you.
That was it. Yeah, she asked me that like a year later for my birthday or whatever.
That's cool.
She made me my grasshopper trophy.
And I've never seen your hatchet house, but I'm gonna guess that you probably have everything you need already to build an awesome air gun range.
Yeah.
All you
really,
have to do is throw a target up and put a line on the floor, and that's probably all you need to do.
Yeah. I don't really have 33 feet of range for you. But
I want to give a quick shout before I forget. Ally Sports here in Midland, Ally Outdoors. Mm-hmm. I have never gone there because why the hell would I need to go there? I own everything I could possibly need, and I got free ammo. I was a range master, and
that's not free. That's government property.
Yeah. But I was paid to shoot as much as I could stand.
Cheese.
I was paid to shoot as much as I could possibly stand it. So now that I'm retired, I found out they had an archery range, and I went, and it is a magnificent archery and air gun range, and they have air guns. And I looked at them, and every day I've gone, it's been about 4 days out of chemo, and I can't ever remember what it is, but I think they are Anschutz or Walther. They're really nice.
Oh, cool. Cool.
And you can take your own, or you can go there, and they've got benches and all. But the last thing I want to say about air guns is whatever you're into, go to, I think it's Pyramid Air and some other ones. Whatever gun makes you excited, there is an air gun version for it now.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best time in the world to be 12 years old because they
true.
They have replica Glocks, SIGs, target guns. We could go out there right now and shoot a Combat 3 gun, rifle, pistol, shotgun
with all air guns.
10 meters with all air guns.
That's cool.
So automatics, they've got a Select Fire M16, M4 now.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I've been wanting to get one of those.
Could you imagine though when we were kids? Anyway, I'm not going to go any more in air guns, but I think they're overlooked.
Have you guys been into like the airsoft guns, like when they do like the? Have you seen like the videos?
I will. Competing? Yeah, I'm not even going to go off on that story. You've heard of simunition, right?
Yeah.
It's you take a real gun and convert it with changing out barrels, and it shoots a little. It's not really paint; it's kind of a paste. Mm-hmm. But we use them in law enforcement to simulate shoot, and they cycle the action, and they pop, and they hurt like hell. And we used them on SWAT, and we use them in active shooter training and stuff. We were way too broke ass for that when they first came out. We couldn't afford it, and we got a bunch of airsoft.
Yeah,
and this is a SWAT team, and we used airsoft on CQC. And that was an amazing experience. I totally see why people get into it. And at 7 yards, 3 to 7 yards, so practicing entries, you could. It was very accurate as far as if I can hit you with this airsoft gun, I would have hit you with a handgun or an M16 or whatever. Further than that, when we get to screwing around, you can see the round coming.
And get out the way. Yeah.
And I never will forget it. John Henry watches this podcast. We had built. They gave us a building in an old county yard. It was just an open storage building, and we had constructed sort of a Lego set shoot house. And it was designed to put inside of a pistol pit. And we would go to other ranges and places and use it, and we could configure the inside. And it's made just like these walls, 2x4s. It's like a movie set. You can picture that. Yeah. And we could set it different ways, and it had different doors, and you could tape this off and that off, and it had windows. And so we were shooting, and I got shot in a place where no person could have shot me. Like, I felt a round bounce off my helmet. I'm like, okay, this is bullshit. Well, John Henry, smartass, was standing on a couch in another room and shot me over the wall. I said, okay. So I was down, and of course, we have to be realistic and go through the whole drill of dealing with an injured officer and getting him out. So the next time I saw him doing that, and I just peeled off the team, and I was a SWAT commander, so I could do whatever the hell I want, right? And so I stood on a table, and I saw him stick his head over that wall, and somebody else saw him and shot at him, so he started doing the prairie dog effect, where he'd pop up and shoot, and I'm like, he's going to shoot now. And I remember there's absolutely nothing in my sights, and I let that pellet go, and I was watching it fly, and in flight, his head popped up and just popped him right in the grape. And he looked at me, and I was already sitting here like this, with the gun. So I love airsoft, and I love the only thing I will say airsoft lacks over this is the accuracy. Yeah. Because these, and you can spend thousands,
especially if it's like real windy and stuff.
Yeah,
those airsoft pellets are just
But I love airsoft. But
and anytime you're shooting a ball, a sphere, and it doesn't matter whether your barrel is smoothbore or rifle. It's not going to make any difference. You're just not going to get that accuracy. So
that's true. One more thing I'll say: in England, Europe, a lot of places around there, they hunt them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and
there is some awesome YouTube videos.
These guys, but they spend. Now, keep in mind, if you want to have an airgun experience, I'm going to keep looking at those cameras. It's making me paranoid since that one went out. You're going to spend rifle money. You're going to start at $300 or $400, and these guys spend thousands on BSAs. What Cliff is talking about, there are a couple of channels. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I'm a subscriber. And these dudes hunt. They go to places that are infested with rats or like starlings or squirrels or whatever in Europe, and they hunt. And it is just shot after shot of these guys drilling pigeons in the head at 100 yards with a 25 caliber air. Yeah, brother. I'm not kidding.
With probably a rig that they spent $3,000-$4,000 on with a night sight and the whole and the camera set up where they're recording it and the whole deal. It's just crazy.
Through the scope, and some of them with night vision. And I bought a night vision used, and it's still like $1,000. I mean, they're and you'll hear, and he'll say, "Oh, yeah, it's my new BSA model, whatever," and I'll look it up, and I'm going, "Yeah, I'm crazy, but I would never spend that kind of money." But I gotta real quick, and again, this is
I say that too about axes, but then I buy them. So
but that's your thing, air guns. I'm in the upper middle range. I can't do the $500 gun yet. Yeah. But please note, folks, on YouTube, under the new rules, I do check the not for children because I'm going to tell this story. This one guy was hunting squirrels, and I mean, it was like an hour of this guy drilling squirrels right square in the grape at, I don't know how far, but you see the pellet arc through the whole flight. Shot after shot. This guy is great. And the first comment, are you ready? This is very difficult to masturbate to.
He didn't.
No, it's not.
He didn't say.
He just doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, you just gotta focus, man.
He didn't say impossible.
There you go.
Good point. So that's my spiel on air guns. If you look at like I said, Pyramid Air and some of those, and check out Ally. If you want to shoot a really high-end air gun, I saw them myself out there at Ally. They're incredible. And you can get 45 caliber guns that shoot 1,000 feet per second. Now they shoot like lead reloads, and people are out killing hogs with them.
So I do want a quick shout out to Ken Colson. If he's listening, he gave me this site.
Yeah,
So,
decent little site.
Thanks, buddy. I love it.
I will add. I'll add one more things about air guns. They're great places to test out your optics and your eye relief and all that. And unless you're using a Springer, totally different thing.
Good place to test your blinder if you need one.
Air guns. All right, let me get this stuff off the table. And Blake, I know we caught you out of a meeting and you didn't have a chance to bring an axe in here, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So Axeaholics, Odessa, Texas.
Yes, the Axeaholics Hatchet House in Odessa, Texas.
All right. How did you? My first question, because we do collect weird hobbies around here. How did you get into that?
Because if it's weird, he's interested. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. not like hentai or furry weird, but.
You got a scale.
Well, not.
Yeah, there's a scale.
Not publicly.
Yeah.
Well, so I actually never really heard of it or anything. I'm from the Fort Worth area in the DFW.
Yeah.
And in the DFW, they actually have a decent amount of these places, like 4 or 5 of them. And one of my buddies actually opened up an axe throwing place in Fort Worth. And I was like, there's no way. Like, you're telling me I can go to a place, have a beer, and throw axes at a wall. Right whenever, like, all of that was happening, that big video, I don't know if you guys seen it, there's a video of Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa's, he's actually in Dallas at Bad Axe, which is like one of the first ones.
I have not seen
Bad Axe, yeah.
And he's can drink a beer and throw an axe. He has a big
that,
Viking mug, and he throws an axe. And that's when it kind of blew up. Like after that, the sport itself blew up, and there's like the World Axe Throwing League, which is what we're affiliated with. It's actually the real sport. They do have it on ESPN. You can see like the World Axe Throwing Championships. It's just like kind of like darts, like competitive darts.
Yeah. Well, I got into it through Timber Sports, or got into watching it. I've never done it.
That's where it started. It started back in 2005 with like the Lumberjack games and all that. Whenever that started becoming televised, which the Lumberjack games have been on for
the Steel Lumberjack Challenge.
Yeah,
and real quick, I wanted to point out we were when we were kind of pre-showing about this is Timber Sports are in the lumber industry what rodeo is to us down here in Texas and cattle country.
Indeed.
You know, it started from I guess drinking boasts and challenges, and to where you're who can rope, who can ride, who can do whatever, up to who can climb a tree the fastest, who can chop down the biggest tree, and all that. So that was my understanding of it.
Yeah, and then even axe throwing too. Axe throwing goes in on that too.
Yeah, and they threw axes. Yeah, that
was their big thing. Me personally though, like I did it for fun for a little bit. Then I found that my buddy opened his own. He's pouring that tire fire oil into a glass for me at the moment.
The fumes hit me in the face.
Burned off your eyebrows.
Yeah, keep going, bro. I'm sorry.
But so really, one of my buddies opened one in Fort Worth. He actually did it as like a class project because he had been to one. He was like, I can make one way better than this. So I helped him out. He had it open for a couple months. I came in and became the manager. Really just wanted to do it as like a hobby, work on the weekends. Turned into like a full-time thing.
Awesome.
I became the manager, loved it, loved teaching people how to do it, loved seeing people like stick their first bullseye. They get ecstatic. And then also because it's so universal. Literally anybody can do this. I have 2 of my regulars. Shout out Mike and Gabe. Those are my 2 regulars here at the Hatchet House. They've been since like the first day I've opened.
Cool.
And Gabe is a little 6-year-old kid, and he literally just bullseyes all day long.
All right.
He literally teaches adults how to throw the axe, and they just look at him like, what?
That's awesome.
That's neat, yeah.
So that's what I really like about it the most is that I can literally teach, from little kids all the way up to elderly people to throw axes and actually get them to stick. Me personally, like when I came out here, I came to open this one because I just wanted to do my own. I kind of fell in love with it. I used to be a marketing rep for Converse, like the shoe place.
All right, cool.
And that was like my career, I guess. I didn't like it too much. I was like, marketing, going to.
Should have worn my Chuck Taylors today.
Yeah, it would have been perfect.
I do, man. I won't go on the stage without my Chucks.
The Chucks are good. Yeah. The Chucks are really solid shoes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I went to college for like economics, and I always wanted to run my own business. So like, I caught myself in this marketing job, and I was like, nah.
You're living the dream, dude.
Yes,
That is cool.
really am.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm grateful for it. Too.
I was forced into getting a degree. It's a joke. I had to as part of the job that I had.
It's not
Yeah.
a joke. He was forced
Yeah,
to
I
get
had
a
to.
degree.
It's a long story, but to accept a promotion as a DA investigator, I had to get a 4-year degree, and I had a 2-year. And I read the fine print, and it didn't say it had to be a law enforcement degree, which both of my 2-year degrees were in law enforcement. Anyway, when I studied marketing and all, and I thought, how cool would it be to market one of my hobbies?
Exactly.
And so
that's
why
basically what I do.
I'm
yeah.
totally into it, man.
That's cool.
Well, so like even so I actually used to compete too. So whenever I did throw for the World Axe Throwing League for about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Just to kind of try it out. I never really won anything big. I would make it to some of like the qualifiers, some of the tournaments and stuff, but I never won anything. I just more so did it as a hobby. The name Axeaholics actually came about because I was throwing axes with one of my buddies. And I had told him about the business and what I wanted to do and where I wanted to put it and everything. But I was having doubts. I was like, man, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't really want to, make a move, go all the way out to West Texas, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, look at me. Like, look me in my eyes. And I was like, okay. And then he throws an axe, sticks a bullseye, and then looks back at me and goes, that's satisfying. And I was just like, yeah, it is. It really is. And he goes, and then as soon as he did that, I was like, oh, we're Axeaholics, bro. Like, we can't stop doing this
love
stuff. I was like, we're literally addicted to the axe world.
That fired up the marketing.
And it did. It instantly hit me. And I was like,
brain.
Axeaholics Hatchet House. I was like, that's the business. That's the
perfect,
name.
man.
I'm going to make it happen. And then, just over the past year, we started actually at the end of June, beginning of July. We opened up in Odessa. And it's been really good. We get really, really booked up, like Fridays and Saturdays. That's our busiest days.
Fantastic.
People want to come in on the weekends. Makes sense. And then, but man, it's a great hobby. Now, it's also a very inexpensive hobby too. Like you were saying with.
I was terrified to ask you how much a throwing axe costs.
No, see, that's the thing. It's to each its own. You don't really need a throwing axe. So, like me personally, I actually like Cobalt. The Cobalt axes from Lowe's.
Yeah.
Just the blue handle.
Yeah.
Those are personally my favorite axe to throw.
That was going to be, when Matt told me we were doing this, and I was like, I have some questions. And so one of my questions was, does it take like a special axe?
No,
or can
not
you
at
just
all.
do that with anything?
So the biggest misconception really is that people will come in and they're like, oh, this axe isn't sharp enough, or oh, this axe isn't good. That's the thing. And really, it doesn't even have to be sharp.
Yeah.
Because it's a blunt force. You're sticking the top corner of the axe. That's the only part of the axe that I'll actually stick, which is it's the toe, so the top corner.
Okay.
And really, it's all about distance. Have you ever thrown knives before?
I've thrown knives.
Okay,
yeah.
so you know how knives is you got to be 10 feet away from the target. That's your rotation.
From holding the blade to making the turn. Yeah.
And so it's the exact same concept with axe throwing. Now the rotation is different. You're trying to get one full rotation over to hit the top corner of the axe instead of you have the whole blade of the knife to stick.
Right.
But
oh, okay, I understand. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we have it set up to where the targets are in front of you, and we have all the lines taped out for you. So it tells you, at 12 feet is where most people stick the axe. That's like the average.
So is that one turn from when you let it go? It's
one full rotation from where you're standing to the target.
Okay.
And about 12 feet is the majority. That's about where everybody sticks the axe from. A lot of people kind of drift back. They think, oh, if I throw it harder, if I scoop back, it'll work. But that's not. It really doesn't. You don't really got to throw it hard at all. It's really a very soft throw.
It seems like a lot of mass, no matter. I mean, it seems like throwing it hard would just be more energy and.
It does. It makes it rotate way faster.
Okay.
And so then you're over rotating to where you're getting to like 1.5, 2 rotations when you're only supposed to get 1. It's really easy but hard. Because you don't have to do much, and a lot of people overthink it, and they really try really hard.
Well, and that's I hear that with going back to shooting, but you hear that a lot. I've had people come up and tell me, and these guys are really, really good shooters, and they'll go, "Dude, you just put the sights on the target and pull the trigger. What's the problem?" You know.
Yeah. That sounds.
Well, it sounds easy.
Are you regretting your decision, sir?
No.
There is no shame in the van cave.
I never regret. I have no regret.
About
no regrets.
About no regrets.
No regrets.
Hey,
well,
man,
I tell you what, you can take that bottle with you if you don't have any regrets.
yeah, I've given the bottle away a couple of times.
later.
And it comes back.
It keeps coming back like a bad penny.
Yeah.
You never
So,
get rid of it.
I was going to say, like Cliff said, there's a zen in archery.
Yes.
There's a zen in shooting.
There's
And
very much so.
we were again, the place in Blackwell that we were talking about with the cabin and all that.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a little hardware store in November, hunting season. I'm wearing a really nice flannel shirt. I've got the Movember beard.
You gonna be okay?
We cool? We do know CPR. Yeah. I've got a gunshot kit in my trunk. I'll have to run out and get it. But like I said,
can you pump my stomach?
if you start squirting between your rib cage, yeah, I can take care of that. But I bought a really nice double bit axe just because I had a beard and I kind of needed one. You doing that, Cliff? Are you really?
No, I'm just smelling of it.
Yeah. So I bought this double bit because we harvest our firewood out there.
Yeah,
and,
it's not good.
And I just needed something to kind of just to trim it all down. And I bought this double bit, and I was out there and I looked at a tree, and I'm holding that double bit, and I realized I have a lot of skills and shit like that, but I had no idea where to start. And so nobody's around. My buddy we were cutting wood. It was Bill, and he wasn't watching me. And I threw that axe, and it was stupid, and it bounced off shit. So
Yeah.
immediately I thought to myself, I really want to learn how to throw one of these just because there's something cool about it. Like you take an arrow or bow, which is a primitive catapult, and you go from zero knowledge. And it's my wife, my lovely bride, had no idea. She'd never shot a bow. And after that Olympic coach trip that we took, she got so much out of being able to drill a 10 ring at 30 yards. So I totally see what you're saying. And my brain's going crazy. I can't wait to try it. By the way,
yes, you
have you
guys
talked to
come
Tim
out.
yet?
I have not talked to Tim
okay,
yet.
Tim just landed a drone gig. He does pro drone gayness. I don't know what it is. I don't care. But
photography.
Yeah, he does drone photography, industrial stuff. Anyway, we are going to, and Cliff is part of that group.
Yes, Cliff, you're coming.
We ride, and the problem
is this a field trip? We're going to
go throw axes in an episode of Tim Kreit's Adventures.
Yes.
So.
That's going to be cool.
Tim Kreit's Adventures.
So do you guys host weddings? I'm asking for a friend.
I host everything. Bachelor parties, weddings, bachelorette parties.
All right, well.
Corporate events.
I can see that,
whatever
man.
you need.
Okay.
You've got it right here. Competitive axe throwing, team building. I could totally see team building.
Yep.
Birthday parties, I would do that in a heartbeat. Private events, says itself. Corporate events,
He's retired. He's not doing the corporate events.
Thinking back to my civilian world, I probably wouldn't want to hold a melee
corporate,
weapon near.
You definitely want.
Holiday parties. Do you guys have anything going on during the holidays?
Corporate events kind of makes him sick.
We're gonna be open up like this Black Friday and everything like that,
cool.
and then we'll be open on like Christmas Eve. We won't be open on Christmas. We won't be open on Thanksgiving. But
Roger.
We do like holiday specials, stuff like that, discounts. Cool. Like last week we did the pre-Black Friday. It was like 15% off.
Yeah, I saw that. Now you're traveling too. You're doing
I do mobile events. Yeah.
Cool.
So I did a mobile event for Republic Services out in Pecos, Texas. Shout out to them. They were really nice. They fed me some good steaks, so I was happy about
that.
That's
all it takes.
That's really all it was. Yeah. She was like, if you come down the price a little bit, we'll get you some steak. I was like,
did you say steak?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
see you there.
Yeah, that's the whole deal, man. That's like the musician world, or people that they'll quote us a guarantee, and we're like, oh, and they're like free beer and food. Really? Okay.
We'll be there.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Well, you should have said that to begin with.
Yeah. You struck at my horror musician heart, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I was watching, have you seen the Slingshot Guy on YouTube?
I have not.
Y'all got to watch him. He's German, and he has an English channel, and he is kind of at the forefront of he's bucking against YouTube's new rules. And he had a guy in there that was a knife thrower. But they built, I don't know what kind of target you need, but this guy built a target out of, it was 2 layers of 1x6s.
That's a little thin, but
it's looking at what it's double layered.
Yeah.
And so what do you need to throw?
So I just use actually right now I use Southern Pine. I really just get it from Lowe's. Get 2 big boards, like 2x10s is what I get.
Yeah.
Cut them down to 38 inches. Then I build the target. The target's actually 5 pieces. So the middle piece is the bullseye, and then it's 4 points. I got a picture I can show.
Sure. While you're digging, archery, you can buy those targets with the foam. And another thing, I built a Cliff has seen it. You can go to Academy and buy these little airgun traps that these cards. Yeah, cool. So. Okay, I'm going to post that. Would you text that to me?
Yeah, I can. I can send it over to you.
Yeah, so we're going to put that picture up here. That is really cool looking. But
that's some Mad Max looking stuff right there.
That is.
I got going.
You can stop.
That's really so like that's our prototype mobile event. We're actually I'm gonna put it on a trailer so that it's a lot easier to just hook it up to a truck, pull it up to where it needs to be. This was like impromptu because they were like, "Hey, we want you to come to us." I was like, "Okay, let me build some targets."
The answer is yes.
Nice.
And then that's like the actual place targets. So you're about 10 to 12
this is at your
feet.
shop?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's actually at the shop. You're about 10 to 12 feet
too.
away from the target. Doesn't take much to really do it. It's all about that rotation, and 90% of it really has to do with spot.
So in this picture, we're gonna the one we're showing, the gentleman in the blue shirt and the lovely lady. Is that kind of the angle that you're trying to?
That's exactly the angle.
That's perfect. What you're wanting.
What they did right there, it's perfect.
That's
they listen.
That's not what I pictured in my head, but yeah.
Yeah. So the reason being though is because when you hit flat on the wood, you actually aren't sticking into the wood. You're just cutting it. You're making like a slice, like if you were.
It's a lot of energy over a lot of area.
Exactly.
It absorbs it. Yeah.
And so with the top corner, what it is it's such a blunt force, and really they're not that sharp. I mean, I don't keep them that sharp because I don't want somebody to hurt themselves, like cut themselves. But it's really a blunt force thing.
Still, it's a point, and
it is. It's a point, and it's. Man, really 90% of it is just where you're standing, from how far you are from the target.
That is so cool.
And then as long as you're keeping your throw real consistent, you're going to stick it pretty much every single time. So,
and so this looks like a long handle, right? This is the full.
So what we use at our place is 14-inch handles. We don't go over 14-inch.
Is that a hatchet or an axe?
Yeah, it's technically a hatchet. I do have like an axe there. I hang it up on the wall though. I don't actually use it. Just the reason being because the range that I'm in is not as high, not as far back for the two-handed axes. But you can throw those as well.
Okay.
Now, when you do the big axe, it's a two-handed throw. So you hold it from the bottom, you clasp it over like this, and then you just come straight up over your head, come straight down, and like release the axe in front of you.
Okay.
So
see, that's what you did wrong up there at
yeah, I threw it with one hand.
Yeah.
Well, I was holding a beer in the other hand, which made the whole thing sound like a good idea.
No, that's a good counterweight when you have a hatchet.
Okay,
the big axe, though, no.
All right.
But then also, what I'm really getting into now, because of one of the regular I was talking about earlier, Mike, he makes, he's in Odessa, he lives in Odessa, and he actually makes custom tomahawks for us. So
that's what I was going to ask about tomahawks.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
and tomahawks.
I had a question about whether you were making axes or not.
So we don't actually make them. We take production tomahawks and then we put our own little spin on them. We customize them. Mike's a beast with them. I wish I had one to show you guys, but
I know we caught you kind of at a bad time and you didn't have time to grab stuff here. So I've got one in the shop that somebody built out of a horseshoe or something.
That's cool.
But
we have some Frankenstein type axes like that too up there, like made out of all steel. I'm like, who did this?
I found this in the back in the shop when we bought the house, and you can it's. Seriously, I think somebody beat a horseshoe to death until it was an axe.
Well, one of the things you'll find in the Permian Basin is a lot of welders with a lot of ideas.
And see, that's what's funny. Yeah,
some better than others.
Yeah, indeed. But I mean, really, like personally though, like I don't go fancy with the axes, man. I throw the Cobalt axe from Lowe's. The reason being, it's like $18. It's also got a lifetime warranty, so if I break it, I just take it back.
All right,
that's cool.
But if you're throwing the axe correctly, you really won't mess them up. You won't break them too bad.
Right.
I'll give you a list of like the best axes to get to throw.
Yeah,
like
cool.
Before I leave.
Very interested.
Really, man, Cobalt's my go-to, and then tomahawks now are my thing. Yeah, since I've been introduced to the tomahawks, man, they throw themselves. You literally just got.
That's why I don't own one, because I don't trust that tomahawk. I was in there looking at him.
Hey, stay over there in the corner.
Yeah, I saw a guy, again, it was on like a YouTube Vortex when I'm sitting in a chemo chair or something, but a dude made them, and there was I don't remember the story. I need to look it up. Do you remember seeing in all the like Brigade Quartermaster and US Cav catalogs and stuff, the Vietnam tomahawk?
Yeah, like Do
you know the story to that? Is that a real thing?
Combat tomahawk?
Yeah,
or whatever?
Not really that, but we actually, I've thrown a couple of Vietnam tomahawks. They're really nice too. That's what I was getting at. I don't really know much about the story.
I want to know the history of that, because I know. I mean, my father was in Vietnam, and we've shared he's told me some story. I was in the Coast Guard, like I have anything to say to a Vietnam vet. I got really drunk this one time, and I threw up on a patrol, and Dad's like, well, I killed 7 people with a bayonet. But anyway,
awesome.
I had to eat some Chinese food on a boat.
But this cat threw he was talking about people that could throw an e-tool. Like that did some damage with an e-tool, and I thought it was kind of cool. Entrenching tool for
I was gonna say like the shovels.
A shovel.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's for real. I'll have throwing shovels at my place.
Is this on your current site?
Yes, that's my Facebook page there. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put that up. Those are beautiful.
I'll send you the actual picture
of them. Made by
Those are made by hand by Mike. Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
He's a beast.
Those are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Indeed.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And then
he's in 100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna have like 10. We're gonna do another episode. I'm gonna have my collection.
Indeed. You can come see my collection.
Oh,
it's kind of ridiculous.
Tim, I know Tim got shot down. We were wanting to do it before we had you in,
I got
and
some more.
We've got Tim's work schedule, and although I'm retired, we have my chemo schedule, and so we are gonna come out and shoot an episode. Tim is. A lot of people don't know this. He is a professional videographer, and so I wanted him to do this under his channel, because he's going to get the best of everything out of it for you. So
yeah, for sure.
And we'll bring a bunch of losers on motorcycles out there, and
why are you looking at me when you say that?
Because you're going to be there. That's why.
Oh, and I'm on a motorcycle. I'm going to be there,
I
so
I'm
a
loser.
Chance. Douche.
But that one on the right is the one I was going to bring in today.
Oh, that's a work of art, man.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. We're going to put this up, and wow. So those look like the old school
Carpenter axe.
The guys that did
so they actually have Carpenter tomahawks too.
Plaster, like the plaster
exactly.
guys.
And sheetrock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a video out going around now. If I can find it, I'll link it. A 50s like instructional video.
Yeah. I've seen it. The other day, the guy, he was like cutting out the
he delicately cuts out an outlet and puts out a lattice board.
Yeah, I saw that.
With a freaking
really cool
axe, man.
Yeah. I just saw one of those that had lows too, and I was like, I'm gonna buy one, see if it throws well.
I think I have my stepdad's. He had one of those. They use them in roofing too, and they had the serrated hammer.
So a roofing hammer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be.
But I guess lidding like cedar shakes and stuff, you would use that
crazy stuff happens.
That blade.
How did this? Okay, we're putting this off.
I don't know. I'm not a roofer. I don't know.
I'm not sure how.
I
was there, but he.
I'm going to put up this freak of nature.
He was a little angry.
I have so many questions. Now, is this the axe you're talking about at Lowe's?
No. So that is actually Pittsburgh. Those are our house axes. Our house axes are just Pittsburgh Harbor Freight. They last a lot longer because they're fiberglass handle.
Yeah.
Now the wood handles break pretty easily.
I had a
really just depending on how you throw.
I had a splitting maul that had a wooden handle.
That's the way I do it. There.
Handle first.
Yeah. We got to remember. We got to remember to put all that shit.
So really, the reason why this happened is just because his board was so beat up. It had enough space in it.
Yeah.
It was the target's fault.
Yeah. It was definitely the target's fault.
I had an arrow busted mid-flight the other day.
You have like that.
Wow.
That's me. I threw that.
Okay.
A little underhand action.
I'll be trying to do that on purpose.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Tim and I were shooting in my backyard the other day, and I let an arrow go, and we heard a snap, and the arrow just disappeared, and I found it in 2 pieces in the alley. Mm-hmm. And we figured out I didn't have it knocked right. It was probably had some ugliness on it, but it's weird to shoot an arrow that just vanishes. So. Yeah, send me all those, man. We'll put them up. Is this the kiddo you're talking about?
This is not the kiddo I'm talking about. This is actually the neighbor. So right next to me is a barbershop, and that's the owner's son. So.
Is there much difference between the fiberglass and the wood handles as far as throwing?
No, not really. Okay. It's all a preference thing. If you are a wood handle person, good luck because they break. Yeah. They do break, and that happens. I mean,
that's where I was going with this. I had a splitting maul, and it's up at the cabin, and we use a lot. And
some people tearing some stuff up there.
Yeah.
So.
And Bill Martin and I were beating the hell out of that thing, and he got one.
His axe was still stuck in it.
He brought the big,
That's actually a cobalt axe there, so he just shaved it down.
Oh, okay, I've seen.
Kind of did his own little thing to it. That's one of my regulars as well. So,
but Bill took it back, traded it. It was a Craftsman, and got the fiberglass handle, and we have yet to break that thing.
Yeah, you can't really break those fiberglass handles. Yeah. Like, I mean, they do break, and I mean, I have to replace them every once in a while, but they last a lot longer than the cobalts.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them to death, but like just the wooden handle, if you're not throwing it correctly, and when you first start, you're not gonna throw it correctly. You're gonna miss. Yeah, you're gonna miss 5 to 10 times, like till you kind of figure it out.
Yeah, when you go to archery places, the bows there are, ILF types, and they're all the same thing, and the arrows are junk. So. Oh, that's beautiful, man. Nice.
I've been doing it for a while now.
You got to send me all that, and I'll put it up on the page.
Yeah, I'll send you everything. So. I don't even have to look anymore.
Well, I can't wait to shoot an episode there with Tim.
For sure.
And in fact, Tim was going to come by. Have you heard from him?
Nope.
Nah, he was going to swing by. He left his hat and his coat here. Happy birthday, Tim. He just turned 50.
Hey, happy birthday, Tim. Shout out to you.
He came over with his lovely bride, and we shoved by the way, a tomahawk ribeye in his face. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Look at that. Now you have to come
segue.
Dude, total tie-in right there.
Okay, I got to have this video.
I will send you everything you need.
Yeah, you send me all that we've talked about.
I'm just going to send you a whole catalog of stuff.
Yeah, send me the whole catalog because that is beautiful. And so that's a one rotation throw.
Mm-hmm. You can really see it there with the slow motion.
You know what we ought to do? I'm going to say this because, see, I have all these great videography ideas, but I'm lazy. I mean, I really suck. I'm lazy. What's your distance? Like
he's standing right.
Like your maximum distance.
So the way the lines are set up is it's at 10 feet is where like the front of that's where the walls stop on our backstop and everything. So like 10 feet away from the targets at the beginning. Then it goes to 12 feet. You want to throw between 12 and 10. So you're like. There's a line, you stand right behind it, take a step in, and then make your throw. It's really a momentum thing.
But if we were going to do something asinine, how far away could we get from your back?
So I actually just did that not so long. I got a video of that, too, I can show you.
Well, here's my question.
36 feet, though, is where 3 rotations.
10 meters?
24 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
24 feet is 2 rotations. 36 feet is 3 rotations.
I wonder. So I'm sitting here thinking about a 3-weapon challenge: archery, air gun, and axe. Hatchet.
Okay, but do you have to chug a beer between each one? I mean, I'm just asking.
No, you got to drink that fucking this stuff right here. This right here.
Yeah. How are you doing with that, man? I got to say, not only are you
there will be 0 competitors in this.
Yeah, that's why that was the point. I want to be the
world champion.
I thought I was a stud. Just
cigar, tobacco, juice.
Yeah,
man.
It's gonna be this guy and the guy from Houston are the only 2 guys that can drink.
I love it. Actually, I thought it tasted great.
Okay,
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's like this, man. I thought I was a stud.
He's obviously.
I thought I was a stud with my SWAT career and all that stuff and all the door kicking, and then here comes this guy with this badass beard, big guy, axe thrower, and he can pound desert door like nobody else.
I mean,
I think the thing is when a person thinks desert door tastes good, they're obviously intoxicated. So it's like self-limiting.
Is that what it
is? Here's the thing.
This is what drunk feels like?
No more for you.
Here's the thing, man. We'll get ready to close up shop here because I know we're running late. But we talked about this the other day when Tim was here. There was a window. So like in college, I liked a certain kind of cigar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would drink anything,
right?
In my military career and all, and so I get older, and the cigars got more expensive. The alcohol zone got got way smaller.
Right.
And so
you don't mix them too much.
Right.
Anymore,
Well,
so.
Bill Martin and I got to talking. He's a friend of ours, and he's older. And we were sitting around one day, and we were telling more stories about the cigars that we liked when we were kids. And I found them online. And mine was the John T, and he liked Rum Crooks and all that. So, and we're over here smoking, CAOs and stuff.
And come to find out, they were horrible.
And and it was crap. And
Yeah.
but we both came to the conclusion that they were still the same product. It's just we had changed over time.
Yeah,
and there was a time that I couldn't stand the flavor of a cigar. I didn't like hard liquor of any kind until I got older, and I appreciated stronger things more. So there could be something to that just with your age and your taste, and that maybe maybe it's just old guys that can't drink.
and this what I've told.
I'm impressed, dude. You've taken that like a champ.
Like a
You
champ.
know, I've honestly had worse. There's some stuff out there that's
Really?
I
do not want to
that's
know what
way
that
bad.
is.
That's way worse than
You
that.
are. I'm very impressed. And and
You
the
ever
thing
had
is,
black licorice rum?
Nope.
I kind of shivered when you said that.
God awful.
I am not, sir.
No, that you don't want to ever. So
I can't imagine that. My wife is a rum fan, and she bases a lot of her mixology on rum, but she hates licorice. So
yeah, no, it's very bad.
I will say what I've told people before is as I've gotten older, I probably spend the same amount on alcohol that I did when I was younger, but I've shifted from quality over quantity.
Right. There is that.
So
Yeah.
so the expense is the same, but much less quantity and much higher quality.
I did. I sat in here one day in this room, by the way. And thank you. I appreciate the compliment on the van cave.
Yeah, no,
we
I
very
love
much
the cave,
love this room.
for sure.
It actually has a.
I didn't even notice that, and that's amazing.
Yep, it has a smoke removal system and an ozone scrubber and a carbon scrubber to get the cigar, because you can't smell cigar when you walk in here.
Yeah, no.
And we do burn cigars in here once in a while, and we do kind of enjoy that thing once in a while, but I've already lost where the hell I was going with this. Damn, there it went.
Welcome to the man
That
cave.
desert door. You didn't even drink none
Oh,
of it.
desert door. Oh, yeah. I forget. So one day after we used to party, Cliff and I have known each other for many decades, and of drinking anything and the all that too. I'm sitting in here one day with my buddies. I think it was during the Breaking Bad era. Breaking Bad also kind of brought the van cave to life, because we would meet in here on Sundays and watch it.
That's awesome, because I love Breaking Bad.
Yeah, so I'm in here drinking brandy out of a snifter, smoking a cigar, and I'm going, when did I turn into such a douchebag? But it happens. It comes with age and disposable income. So.
I mean, the douche is the way to go.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean.
All right, so we got Blake Cryer, Axeaholics, Hatchet House, Odessa, Texas, 2730 North Grandview Avenue.
Yep.
Okay, and your Facebook, Axeaholics Hatchet House, and you're on Instagram as well. I'm old, so I don't even know what that is.
I don't really use the Instagram much either. I try to post on there. I'm pretty bad about
fantastic.
Yeah, I can't do that.
it. I don't really get it.
I cannot abide.
Now you need people to book ahead for this. Is that correct?
We recommend that you book ahead, just so that you get a guaranteed spot. We do accept walk-ins if we have the availability, but on like Fridays and Saturdays, it's real busy, so you definitely want to have a reservation.
I'll tell you, this young man
That's a
has
good problem
been
to have.
fantastic to communicate with, and Tuesday through Thursday, 3 to 11, Friday, Saturday, 12 p.m., 12 a.m. Awesome. I see so much coolness in that. And Sunday, 3 to 11, ages 10 and up.
Yep.
And Facebook, and they can schedule. He's very rapid on Facebook. Man, it has been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for the weirdness here. My apologies to your liver, sir.
Yeah, the liver might be a little bit dead.
We only guarantee our ability to administer aid once you leave the property. After
It's
that,
over.
if you're in convulsions. But I do suggest you write like my phone number on your arm, so the paramedics can call me and let you know.
You'll be able to explain what poison you gave.
All right, everybody got at least a little bit left, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for having me
Excellent
out.
episode.
Yes, for
Look
sure.
forward to the Tim Kreitz Adventures
Yes.
episode. We're going to
be tearing some wood
Yes.
up, throwing
Fantastic.
some axes.
Yes.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Yep,
Let's
cheers.
do it.